But yeah, let's get into it. So we're going to this is almost a futile section, but we're going to say all our predict all our potential outgoings and all our incomings, and we're going to say where the outgoings will go and the fees, and we'll get an idea of the net spend that we're going to predict. And can you imagine if one of us pulls it off like absolutely flawlessly? Obviously, it's not going to happen. We get all the clubs and all the fees. It'd be incredible. But yeah, we're just going to predict Arsenal transfer window basically very early on. We're at May 19th, so there's a lot that could happen between now and when the transfer window even opens that could influence stuff. But yeah, we'll start with outgoings. I want your top outgoing in terms of incoming money. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if yours wasn't the same as mine. I think that the top outgoing will be Flo Balogun. Obviously, oh wow, a little eyebrow raise maybe means he doesn't agree with me, but I think that yeah, it seems pretty clear that he's going to leave the club this summer. There's been all sorts of reports suggesting that he would like to leave if he can't be guaranteed a starting spot, which, there's just no way he can be with Gabriel Jesus is in town, and Nketiah, quite rightly, still sits above him in sort of the strikers group at Arsenal. So, yeah, I think Balogun will be our top sale. He's an extremely valuable commodity now, having just signed up to represent the US at the next World Cup and just in general at international level. He really could become a real franchise player for whoever end up snapping him up. So I think we're going to bring in a handsome fee of somewhere in the region of £35 million.
Where's he going?
And I have said Leipzig for Mr. Balogun.
Ooh, I can see that. That was a weird noise. I can see that. I've also got him going to Germany, but I've got him for less than that.
Interesting.
I think maybe I've undervalued him a little bit. Given, as you said, he's now the poster boy of sort of American football in terms of their striking position. I've got him going to Frankfurt for 30 million.
Replacement.
That's what I was going to say. I was saying I looked at their statistical profiles and they're kind of similar. So I thought maybe Frankfurt will sort of look at him to replace Kolo Muani, who's been linked with moves away. I think is his contract up. I can't remember. I've seen him linked to Bayern, so I've got him going to Frankfurt. But I don't know. Maybe that Leipzig, going to be in the Champions League. There's more of a market for him at Leipzig.
Yeah, he's been lightly linked to them, and I think that Leipzig lack a profile like that. They've sort of had Poulsen there for a few years now, who's sort of failed to set the world alight, and then Werner is more of a winger these days. So I think there is space for a proper 9 there. And then I do think Germany is his most likely destination. So, yeah, I think any of those top clubs could be interested. I wouldn't even be surprised if Bayern showed a little bit of interest. They look like they're going to try and sort of beat the market a little bit with their striker acquisition, like sort of hesitantly linked with Ollie Watkins as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's interest from there. But yeah, I'm saying Leipzig.
Fair enough. I think that's probably a better shout than Frankfurt, to be honest. 30 mil to Frankfurt for I've said Balogun. But I have our bigger outgoing as Kieran Tierney to Newcastle for 35 million. I think I've seen such varying opinions on the sort of fee we can get from Newcastle. And I think anything under 35 would be like pretty abysmal when I think about it. Firstly, we paid 25 million for him, so you want to make a profit. Secondly, he's homegrown, so that automatically adds a bit of money. He's experienced.
No, he's not. He's not homegrown because Scottish doesn't count.
What?
It's bizarre, but they don't
really
count. Yeah.
Well, he's not homegrown, but I mean, Scotland is close to Newcastle, I guess. So I don't know. They're I think at the heart of Newcastle's sort of squad, they're trying to create this British core to sort of resonate.
Yeah, the good old sports washing. Yeah,
sports washing, exactly. And I think Kieran Tierney fits that pretty well, having come from Celtic, and and so anyway, he's British, he's experienced, he's only 25, so he's entering his prime. He's got his prime years ahead of him. He really fits their style of play. Eddie Howe apparently loves him, tried to sign him for Bournemouth. We have to maximise what we can get from him.
And they're rich.
And they have endless amounts of money. And they've just paid 40 million for Anthony Gordon. So if we get anything less than 35 million, I think it would be terrible, to be honest. That's why I've got him. What did you have for Tierney, or did you have him leaving?
Your argument is very persuasive. We basically swapped over in our valuations of Balogun and Tierney. I have him at 30. I think the injury proneness is the only big thing there. The big drawback, and obviously
it's quite clear we don't
played many minutes. And I honestly, I only say this because I'm still unconvinced of Edu's ability to be a salesman, and I think I'm absolutely justified in my hesitancies on that front. We haven't been a good selling club, even though there's been sort of mitigating circumstances. So yeah, that's why my valuations are lower. I honestly think both Balogun and Tierney, a club like Liverpool, might be able to get a 40 sort of million, but I'm not sure we're quite at that level yet of being able to sell that effectively. And let's face it, these guys also aren't like nailed on starters for us. That's another thing to consider when you're selling a player. So I agree with you. Definitely be in the region of 30 million, and if it's anything less than that, we just don't sell him, because Newcastle have enough money to pay us a lot of money. So yeah, Newcastle's the same destination, and I've said 30 million.
Fair play. My next one, I think, is probably the most bold, and will surprise some people. I've gone Smith Rowe to leave this summer, and I think the writings are kind of on the wall with the fact he's barely played this season. And I know you could sort of point to Martinelli's injury season and the way Arteta sort of reintegrated him slowly. And he wants Smith Rowe to sort of show more progression in terms of what he's seeing on the training ground. And when he does get his cameo minutes, he's not really, I know it's very limited, but I just think there is no room for sentimentality if we want to catch City. And as much as it really pained me to lose Smith Rowe, because I really love him, academy product, I've been going on about him for years when he was back, when he was like 16, 17, and he was coming through and playing in the Under-17 World Cup alongside, Jadon Sancho and Phil Foden. But, there are question marks for me. And I think it's a potential, if we want to sign some of the players that we'll get into, I think there's potential for a big sale here that could help fund some of those others. And if we were to get a good offer, I would be very willing to accept it. We don't know where does he fit into this squad realistically. Trossard's signings made him kind of redundant on the left-hand side. In the left eight, it looks like we're looking to bring someone in to replace Granit Xhaka. I don't know. I'd love to be wrong and him to stay and be brilliant next season, but I just don't see it. I've got him going to Villa, because that's the only. I looked basically for a lot of these. I looked up the player and went on their news on Google News just to see who they've been linked with, and I saw Villa as the only club. So I've got him, and I think maybe Emery will like him. Emery started to use him a bit at Arsenal, so I've got him going to Villa for 30 million. Yeah, you're shaking your head. It looks like you disagree.
No. I can't let him go to Villa. I can't. I don't want him in the Prem.
It's going to happen.
I want him.
My predictions are going to be so correct.
I'm not selling him either. He's not on my sales list. I genuinely think Smith Rowe is too big of a talent, and I know you can't be sentimental about these things, but I genuinely think at his best, we're talking about one of the biggest midfield talents in the Premier League, and I know we haven't seen it yet, but his profile is of an 8. It is, and the problem is
he a good enough passer? Like, his passing numbers are not great, and when I watch it,
I think he offers us something.
A brilliant passer. I see someone who carries the ball well, who could arrive late in the box.
I think he offers us something different in the 8, which I think could be of use. I think in that right eight, which I think is viable as well, because I think Ødegaard eventually will move over to the left. If you look at historically how Pep Guardiola's built teams, he tends to have the left footer in the left eight and the right footer in the right eight. I think Ødegaard could move over, and then I think Smith Rowe really does offer us something different. I think you can't just throw away his almost telepathic relationship with Bukayo Saka. I know we haven't seen it for a long time, but when they came through together, they combine wonderfully well. I think the way those two could combine in those sorts of spaces on the pitch is still of use. Don't get me wrong; it's sort of the last chance, 100%. If he has another season sitting on the bench, he's gone at the end of the season. And I suppose the club will just be considering, are we prepared to sort of decimate his market value or not? Do we believe enough in that talent? And
well, if you were to get a 30 million offer for him, would you?
I think it would be very difficult to turn it down. And I don't think Arsenal would, because of the way I've heard Arteta speak about Smith Rowe. He doesn't seem convinced. There do seem to be these slight question marks regarding his attitude. I think the talent's there, I really do. I think he should have a long Arsenal career, and hopefully he comes back to pre-season looking sharp. But yeah, it's definitely one to keep an eye on. But for me, I don't see him going this summer. So my next biggest sell is actually Xhaka to Leverkusen for 13 million.
That's your next? Wow. I do think, looking at my outgoings, I might have been very optimistic, and I feel like I always am every summer. But when I look at them, I can justify all of them, because my next biggest sell is Tavares.
Oh, Nuno you fucking mad, man. That's returning. Not happening. Yeah.
So give me, let me justify this. So Nuno Tavares is a good attacking left back or left wing back. He started the season on fire for Marseille. There were some problems behind the scenes and he slipped down the pecking order, I believe, and he's sort of fallen out with the manager. I don't know. But the reason I think 15 million is reasonable. A, what is he, 22? B, Atalanta. I'm telling you, he's going to Atalanta for £15 million. They've been linked with him in the past. As far as I'm aware, their recruitment is pretty good and generally tends to be based quite off data. And Nuno's attacking data puts him as one of the best wing backs in Europe. Like, he is a threat. He's chaotic. He's poor defensively, but he is a threat. And I think I could see Atalanta returning this summer because there were credible links to them, and maybe they'll do it. He's young. He fits their style of play. He could fit Italy with that physicality. I don't know. I just see him going to Atalanta for 15 million, and maybe that is ridiculous.
It's not happening, mate. It's not happening. You're living in a dream world.
Season when he was really like on fire for Marseille, I was thinking he's going for like 20, 25 mil at the end of the season. But I know it's dropped off.
The problem is he is a hothead, and apparently he's caused all sorts of problems in the Marseille dressing room. Like, all sorts of problems. And
you know, when you're the main guy and you've got Guendouzi and Sanchez in there.
Yeah. I mean,
Kolasinac's just calming it down.
I unfortunately don't. I think we're basically just going to get a return on what we paid for him. I think we're going to get about 5 million for him. And I have said, I think he's going to go to Nottingham Forest.
I can see that with their fullback system.
Yeah, exactly.
Aurier, 5 million.
Aurier and Tavares.
How have we had him for 2 years? He's played
because he's not very good.
That's less than what we paid.
I think he's got
paid 6 mil.
Oh God! Well, I think he's got a unicorn profile, but I think he could actually be great somewhere. But I don't think he's a valuable commodity at the moment after the second half of the season he's had.
You're telling me we signed him, how old was he? 21?
He's depreciated in value because he's an idiot.
Depreciated in value. He's an idiot. 2 seasons of playing in the Premier League and then playing pretty regularly.
Daniel is listening. I know Daniel is listening to this, agreeing with me. He 100% is.
See, I always liked him. He wasn't the right fit for Arsenal, but I liked him as a player. I thought he was fun, chaotic,
I'm
great.
I'm considering for the first time ever using my powers to use the mute function on you and shut
You'll be laughing.
about
You won't be
Tavares.
laughing.
We're not getting
I'll
15 million. We're not.
you'll laugh at me, but you're not laughing now. That's what I'll be saying when he goes to
Okay,
Atalanta
let's
for
move
15
on.
million
Let's move on.
in
Who's your
June.
next sale?
So I've got well, I had Xhaka to Leverkusen for 13 mil pounds because it's all in pounds. But above that, I had Pepe.
Oh, you're not getting more than like we're getting. Apparently, no one's interested in him.
No, I did some research. Nice are interested in buying him permanently, but they want to see more from him. That's what it said. I've got Pepe to Nice for 15 million.
We're getting 10 mil max. Have you seen his numbers this year? They've been so bad. He's not. Yeah, he's got like he scored 6 goals and got no assists.
Let's look at his FB ref.
He's had a rubbish season.
I'm looking at his FB ref now.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to be the realist in this room, and I'm saying we're getting 10 million for him. But I think a different French club are going to make a swoop. I see him going to Marseille and joining the Arsenal band there. I think we're going to use our relations with Marseille, and he's going to end up at Marseille for 10 million.
Nah, he's going Nice for 15.
Where are Nice getting 15 mil from?
He's 6 goals in. Oh, it's 3 non-penalty goals.
It's horrible.
It's not good. It's not good. But I don't know.
It's
just
15 million
all I can
player.
think of is that if he's 72 million in 2019, he's got to be at least 50. It doesn't matter how bad he's been. He surely retains 15 million pounds worth. Maybe I'm being absolutely.
We're getting 10.
Yeah, maybe 10's more realistic. Yeah. Well, below that, we've discussed Xhaka earlier in the podcast, so we won't go into him. We both know that he's going for 13 million. Sounds like a yeah. I've got Lokonga to Burnley for 12 mil.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I actually completely forgot about Lokonga. I think he will go to Burnley as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's another loan for a season, just because of how little he's played for Palace since Roy Hodgson's come in, and he actually looked okay under Vieira. I think we'll send him on loan for another year, but I think if we get any sort of decent money, we would be foolish to turn it down. It just hasn't worked out. My next one, incidentally, is actually... Oh, yeah, I think we're going to get 10 mil for Rob Holding. I think he's going to go to like Sheffield United or something.
So I just on Sambi, we spoke about the Burnley link in the summer actually, not in January. Obviously he played under company at Anderlecht. Company loves him. That just feels like a signing that they'll make, and I don't think 12 million's too ridiculous. Do you?
No, I think we could probably demand more than that as well.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, that's less than what we paid for him 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's a full Belgian international with a couple of years of Premier League experience under his belt. I think
he needs a lot of coaching. For talent
a club like Burnley, who do have money at their disposal coming up, I think we should be demanding what we paid for him. Yeah,
that's what I think that's feasible. So maybe I've just overvalued Pepe and Tavares, but Rob's laugh. I can't. Holding to Sheffield United, I also had at exactly 10 mil. Is that the first time we've completely agreed? I've seen the Sheffield United links. I've also seen links to Leeds, but I think
makes so much sense. Makes so much.
You could see him in the Sheffield United shirt at Bramall Lane. And again, 10 mil doesn't seem far-fetched for a 27-year-old English defender with plenty of experience. He's played in the Champions League, so
fucking hell.
Yeah. So he is a good player. You can imagine him in a low block, maybe in a back three, doing pretty well in the Premier League.
Oh yeah. He's a back three merchant. He'd love it.
He is.
I see it. I now have no more money coming in. Do you?
I do. Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So I've got Pablo Mari to Monza.
Yeah, sorry, I had Murray.
for 6 mil, because that's confirmed now that Monza have stayed up. Like, we have got that 6 mil in the bank. And I've got Austin Trusty to Rangers, because I've seen that link going about.
Yeah, but we're going to get like no money for him apparently.
I've got 5 mil.
We should get like 5 mil, but apparently we're getting like no money.
He's had a good season in the
he's had a
channel.
great
I've got a
season.
mate who supports Birmingham, and he said he's been decent.
Yeah. I went to watch him in the flesh, and he was great.
Yeah, 5 mil.
I think we should be able to get. I think we should maybe even get more. But
really,
yeah, I think I do actually think there's something to the whole US sportsman having like high value. I think they're attractive market commodities. You can get good deals from having them in the club, and it gets a lot of attraction. So yeah, anywhere 5 to 10 million, I think would be good business. And considering we got them for nothing, it was basically like money laundering. So yeah, 10 million would be good.
Given he came from Colorado Rapids, Kroenke's MLS team, it makes sense. And then I've got no more money coming in, but I've got some free transfers to reel off.
As do I. I've got a shock one, I think.
Have you? Well, I've got Nelson going. I think it's quite clear he's not going to sign the contract now. I've got him going to Brighton for free. Any thoughts on that?
I had him at Brighton initially, but I see him going to AC Milan. He's been tentatively linked with Milan. They're one of the clubs named, and I think he'll look at how well Tomori's done there, and also Abraham at Roma as well. I think there's a real pathway for young English talent in Italy. So I hope he does that. I also don't want to see him in the Prem. It would hurt me.
Well, he's been linked with Brighton. And he came on the other day and probably impressed them. So I've just had him in Brighton. I've got Cedric leaving on a free transfer. He's got a year left, but I think we'll let him go. I've just chosen Vitória randomly. Portuguese
Vitória. I think he's going to go to Fulham and be the understudy there.
To Tete.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's feasible as well. I think we'll definitely let him go for free. I've got Maitland-Niles. He's basically confirmed he's leaving on a free to Everton. I've said
I couldn't care less where he goes.
I struggled to think of a team, and I just said I could just see Everton.
I could really see him in the Championship. He's had such an awful season.
Such a shame, because I remember. I'm pretty sure there's a podcast clip on this YouTube channel. If this is on YouTube, if you're watching it, and it was us discussing whether we should accept a £30 million bid from Wolves.
Yeah, I wish we did.
Now he's going for free.
Bizarre. And then what about Renard? Where's Renard going, Alf?
So I've got Alex Runarsson going to Valur free transfer. I searched up Icelandic league table, and I chose the third team in the league.
Okay.
And I said he's going back to Iceland.
I see him linking up with Tim. No, not Tim Ream. What's his name again? He's going
Will
to
Still.
Ream with Will Still. Tim Ream is the Fulham defender. He's going to Ream
with Cedric,
and he's going to
go with Tim Ream
under Will Still, and he's going to make him the best ball playing.
He's going to play with Tim Ream and Cedric, and he's going to be Leno's understudy again.
Yes. And then, no, but seriously, in Frank Lampard's
Will Still wouldn't be stupid enough to sign him.
You don't know that. Everything's gone very quiet on the Will Still front, hasn't it? We're not hearing much about him anymore. Okay, but seriously, as I said, Frank Lampard style, no, but seriously. My big free departure is Thomas Partey.
So
I think he's going to be offloaded to the Middle East.
Yeah. The Middle East?
Yeah.
That's so random. Where? You need an exact job.
Okay.
I spent 6 months. No, I spent a season on loan in my player career mode at Ettifaq FC in Saudi Arabia.
I see Al Nassr coming in for him. No, honestly, seriously, this is my genuine belief. I think we will try and offload Thomas Partey this summer if we can. There's negative PR there, and I think if we can, we will find somewhere for him to go. Did see some very sort of in the know sort of links on Twitter earlier. That's why I've said Middle East, Al Nassr. There is said to be a little bit of interest. So yeah, I do see him leaving the club this summer.
See, I didn't have that one. I thought there's just no way we're going to be able to move him on. And he just stays until his contract.
It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. I think they'll do what they can to try to, but it's unlikely. I agree with you.
Yeah, with the injury problems and some of his inconsistencies recently, it go. That made my total incoming to a staggering 171 million.
That is not happening, Alfie. I've got
when it happens, you'll feel like an idiot. I'll clip this up, put it on Twitter.
I'm just doing my maths. Speak.
You should have done this before.
I should have done 78.
100.
I think
maybe I've overvalued.
98. 104 plus 5, 109 million pounds. Arsenal getting it. I even think that's ambitious.
That would be way above what we've got for fucking ages.
I know it would be.
Have we ever brought in that?
I think it's ambitious. We
probably haven't ever brought in over 100 million.
The most we've got is probably like 40 when we've got rid of like Iwobi and Oxlade-Chamberlain and all that.
Willock, yeah. Emi Martinez. Yeah, no, I see 171 million. I think
Shut up. You don't see that.
So we're going to get 30 million for Tavares and Pepe combined. No, with the Smith Rowe sale, I think the only ones I've been slightly maybe optimistic on are Tavares.
Yeah, I see us getting a lot more than 100 million if we sell Tierney, Balogun and Smith Rowe, because we'll get other money here and there, like the Xhaka money is guaranteed, as is the Pablo Mari. That's 20 million right there already guaranteed.
I think Holding brings in money.
Hey, we have 20 million guaranteed this summer already. That is more than we get most windows.
Exactly.
Big
it's going to be 171 million.
Right,
which will fund our outrageous
exciting bit. Yes.
Yeah. So, what's your biggest incoming?
My biggest is Declan Rice from West Ham United for £80 million. I know there's been talk of more money. I've been following this one very closely. Alfie and I like to trust Mr. Transfer Checker on Twitter. He seems to think that we've had an agreement in place for a very long time, and unless Manchester City come in, we've got a price pretty much fixed there. And I think it will be in the region of £80-90 million. It will be a deal worth a lot of money. I think he will be worth every penny. I can see him playing in both the 6 and the 8, primarily in the 6 for me anyway. I know a lot of people see him as an 8, but I really see him as a 6. I think he's the future of the Arsenal midfield. I think he could be a captain of Arsenal Football Club. He's exactly what we need. And as I alluded to earlier, he'll fill a crucial leadership void in the dressing room.
I also have him as our biggest incoming, but I think he'll cost slightly more. I've got 90 mil. I think they are going to really squeeze every last penny out of us for their star player and their captain. He's their captain, isn't he, now, with Noble gone?
Yes.
90 million. I feel like maybe we could get less, but when you look at sort of Enzo Fernandez going for 100 million after playing a few good games in the World Cup, Declan Rice proven in the Premier League. He is homegrown, English. 90 million seems kind of fair in the current market.
Oh, I think he's worth it. I would honestly go up to 100 for him. I definitely would. I think he's worth the money.
I agree. And I think we'll have plenty of conversations about him throughout the summer when we do videos and pieces and podcasts. We'll have plenty of time to discuss whether he'll be an 8 or a 6, and how we'll use him. But my sort of bold second claim in this incoming bit is that we'll sign Caicedo as well. I think that is extremely optimistic.
No, I've said the same.
I've gone Caicedo with Rice, and I think particularly if we lose Partey, as you said, if we ship Partey off, surely we bring in 2. And I think even if we don't get rid of Partey, I think we probably need 2. And I think Caicedo, as I was saying earlier, fits that bill in terms of having one come in who's sort of just pre-prime in terms of 24, 25 in Rice, and then we've got someone who's a bit younger who can really develop into a superstar. And I watched him against Arsenal, against us in that Brighton game on the weekend, and he's outrageously good. Like, he could become something special.
He's silly, and
he was playing right back, and he was brilliant.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to speak about just after I sort of said the value and everything. I think this one isn't outside the realms of possibility just because I know he has signed that new contract, but he basically begged to leave Brighton in January, put up a bloody Instagram post, for God's sake. The other day he was apologising on Twitter for tackling Martinelli. He clearly still wants to play for Arsenal. And I think there will be some sort of agreement in there with Brighton upon the signing of that deal. I don't think he would have signed that deal if he didn't think he'd be able to get a move this summer, the move that he wants. I think the only risk is that another big club come in and we get caught up in a bidding war, but I see it happening for 60, 70 million pounds. I think Brighton owe it to him after making him stay for half a season. And De Zerbi has been very open about the fact that they might lose Caicedo this summer. So I do see it happening. And I just wanted to sort of touch on that sort of right back role that he played. I think that's what makes him really, really valuable to Arsenal as a potential signing. I think basically he can be that sort of Zinchenko. I spoke about it, I think, on the last podcast, that we need another player who can invert, and I think Caicedo can be that player. Not necessarily as the left back, but we can change the dynamics and start him at right back with Declan Rice, have them both in the pivot. That's a pretty brilliant pivot, and the fact that he can also play in so many other positions, I think it's a crucial signing, and we should be doing everything we can to get it over the line.
I agree, and that probably does rule out the idea of bringing in that sort of final third specialist, number 8, who we've spoken about, and who I thought that was the profile we needed last summer. But I think Xhaka has shown me that you don't necessarily need that in this team, although in some games it could help. And you've got options like Vieira and Trossard who could play that role in certain games.
And on top of that, we do also, I think people forget that we defend in a 4-4-2. And it's really important to have two players who are comfortable sitting in a double pivot in the defensive situation. So, yeah, I think Caicedo would suit us in that sense. And seen him play at right back lately has really excited me and also frustrated me because of the solutions he could have offered us if we did manage to get him in January.
Absolutely. I've said Caicedo 75 million. I think they'll push us to that. I think the contract was purely because he was on like pennies and he deserved a raise. I don't think it was with a view to keeping him in the long term. Beyond that, I think it's really interesting because there's so many different options. We spoke about how we think we need a right-sided, sort of versatile right-sided defender who could potentially play as a right centre-back or a right-back. But I've gone for our next biggest spend, and I think this was a massive projection, and I don't think this will happen, actually. We will sign Rafinha this summer.
You fucking moron, honestly.
I said we'll sign Rafinha for 55 million.
I actually wouldn't be that surprised, but still, I wouldn't put him down in like my definitive fucking list.
I think Arteta loves him. He wants his sort of Riyad Mahrez. I think he wants Rafinha. And I've heard, Barcelona probably need to sell given their financial situation.
If they get Messi back,
exactly. And I've heard, sort of rumours that Rafinha's not entirely happy and he'd be open to a move. So, I don't know. We've also been linked with Diaby. Have you gone for another forward? I'm assuming.
I have. Yeah, we have been linked with Diaby. Ornstein said today that was unlikely. However, we're not totally sure how reliable Ornstein is these days for Arsenal news. But I think I'll take that one as fairly credible. I think Diaby would cost a lot of money, and we need to spend that money on the midfield. I've gone for a slightly cheaper option. I think he's had a really excellent season, which has sort of gone under the radar. I've gone for Michael Olise at Crystal Palace. I think a cheeky £30 million swoop for him would be great. We all know how much Arsenal love bringing in Premier League proven players. He's picked up 10 assists this season, and he also offers us something very different on the right hand side to what Bukayo Saka does. I don't know if you saw that assist that he got for Eze last week, but that was trademark Elise. He loves playing these passes from deep, cutting in deeper in the pitch, and he's also got a great turn of pace, and he's a set piece threat as well. I think that's a pretty low risk move, and he's one of those players who we sort of discussed last summer when we talked about Pedro Neto, who would come in and he wouldn't demand too much. I think he'd be quite happy to learn from the likes of Saka, Jesus, Martinelli and Trossard and really ply his trade and develop at Arsenal. So yeah, I would like to see that one happen.
I would 100% like to see that as well. I think that's a great shout. The reason I didn't sort of think of it is just I haven't seen those links, and I'm going what I'm predicting to happen. And I think Rafinha is an ambitious bet because of his sort of pedigree.
Yeah, I know there's been,
as you said, he'd want to come in and play every game, and having him and Saka is that plausible in the same squad.
I feel like the last few years we've had like about 3 transfers per summer, which we knew were going to happen way in advance, and they've told us that it's going to happen, and then we have one out of nowhere, sort of. And I think Elise could be that one.
Fair enough. I think it's a good shout, and it'll be much more affordable. But yeah, I kind of still want Rafinha because I think he's brilliant. But it is ambitious. And I've only had one more incoming. I've only had 4 signings, because I think we will keep Eddie, which means we won't go for
I agree.
striker. And my other incoming is Simakan for 20 million. I'm assuming you've got another right-sided defender.
Yeah, well, mine's just Fresneda. We were linked to him in January. It seemed like it was pretty close, actually. And then it sort of got pushed forward to the summer, and he's spoken about the fact that he admires the way Arsenal play, but both could very, very sort of plausibly materialise.
Yeah, we've been linked with both. I've heard Fresneda is a brilliant talent. I've looked at Simakan. I've spent some time watching him recently, in recent days since the sort of Fabrizio leaked or reported that we've sent scouts to watch him and we're interested. And I think he's a perfect solution. Like, obviously, this is going off small bits of, small clips where we're seeing the best things he's ever done, and the data looks really good, by the way, like progressive passing, progressive carries. Physically, he looks sort of not quite like Saliba, but he can sort of replace Saliba. He can come in for Saliba if we need him in that right centre-back spot. He's played a lot of time at right-back as well and looked really assured in that team. I just think he's the perfect fit with that sort of recovery pace, allows us to play in a high line, and that positional versatility. Yeah, I've gone Simakan 20 mil.
Yeah, I would. I would suggest that either one I would be delighted with. I don't see us getting a right-sided Zinchenko. I don't see the player out there. I think Zinchenko is so unique. So I think, as I alluded to earlier, if we were going to have a player invert on that side, it would probably be Caicedo. And then one more just to keep an eye on. It definitely won't happen unless we don't get either one of Rice or Caicedo. Is this Zubamendi guy at Sociedad? We've been heavily linked with him. He is reportedly more of a Jorginho type midfielder rather than a Thomas Partey, but a younger one with more mobility. Could suit us. So yeah, just another one to keep an eye on. But I think the priority will be the 2 Premier League boys in Rice and Caicedo.
I agree. So I've got our total spend at 240 million, which again,
mine's 290. Sorry, 190. It's not miles away from you. So
your next spend is what, 80 something million?
Yeah, thereabouts, as is yours.
Mine's 69 million.
Fuck it.
But I think that seems. I think maybe we've sort of inflated the total incoming money, and
I've just chosen not to be ambitious. I remember I think Arscast did it a few years ago. I can't remember which season, and they got it so horribly wrong in terms of sales. So I choose to be a pessimist. You're on mute, Kelshaw.
My bad. Yeah, I think we may have inflated. Well, I've definitely inflated the total incomings and the total spend, but I think the net spend of around 70 million seems plausible. Yeah. Any final words on this transfer section? And if you've just watched this on YouTube, because this is part of a bigger podcast, then yeah, like and subscribe and that.
Yeah, and go check us out. The whole podcast, I mean, not like photos of us online.
Thanks for clarifying that.
You're
Any
welcome.
final words on this section?
No, nothing to add.
Well, that's also the last section, so I guess the podcast is over.